We'll start it with one of these little. Oh man,
Oh,
that sounds good.
All right, guys, here's a quick cut from the full interview with Lyle Barnett. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, tell us what you want to hear.
No, Yingling has not sealed any kind of sponsorship deal with me yet. I actually have some new stuff in the works we can't really disclose yet, but it is it's drinkable. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at
that. That is good news, man. I know you tagged them in a ton of stuff. You've got a big wide panel on the side of that car that their name would fit great on.
Oh yeah, I've sent them. Look, I've had renderings made. Like I've done the whole. So I can't say they've done nothing. They sent me 10 cases of beer, I think, for my wedding back in June.
Nice.
So I mean, and much appreciated, right? But I'm still hammering them about a sponsorship. So we'll see what happens.
That's cool, man. Well, I definitely want to say thanks for coming on first. I know you are a busy guy. I've been watching for several weeks, and a couple of years for sure on all that stuff. So, dude, if you want to, man, we'll jump in it. Kind of the first thing is let you introduce yourself, obviously, and then kind of tell everybody where they can find you. I do like that you've committed back to some YouTube videos. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, and my name's on the screen, obviously I'm Lyle Barnett, originally from a very small town called Robbins, North Carolina. If you look at North Carolina on the map and find the geographical center, my house is pretty much there. I grew up in a small town, a 1A high school, played sports, was always interested in racing at some level, but just didn't really know which direction I wanted to go. I toyed around with some motocross stuff on four-wheelers, just didn't really have the kahunas, I guess you would say, to jump that thing on the triple. Like I had a buddy that was really, really good, and we would go practice or whatever, and he would jump like over my head, and I'm like,
right,
not for me.
That's not what I'm going to do.
I actually had interest first, and because of the same friend, I had interest first in round track racing. He had a late model truck, which he was super successful in. Thought that's what I wanted to do. We were actually in the process of purchasing one, and my dad comes from the drag racing world. He was a bracket racer until I was born, and I was like one Thursday or something after football practice, and we were supposed to go buy the late model that weekend, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about drag racing?" And at the time I was like 14 or 15 years old. I didn't really care, if it was loud, made more horsepower than my daily driver, and we got to go race, then that was cool. So instead of going and buying a late model stock truck, we went instead to Tommy Kirk's house, owner of MacFab Beadlocks, and bought a 7.0 index 4th generation Camaro with like a 468-inch big block in it.
Yes.
And MacFab, some people don't know, MacFab, before it was a beadlock company, was just the name of our race team. Like it stands for machining and fabrication, and we just wanted something. There was like 4 of us that ran, and we just wanted something to call ourselves, right? Something to put on a t-shirt, and that's how that started. Complete tangent there, but I bracket raced for like a couple years. X275 was in its conception, right? Like they were running like 530s. And so we bought a 3rd gen Camaro, a complete mullet machine. We bought like a 565-inch big block, converted it to a nitrous friendly Andy Bill. If you followed Outlaw Pro Mod Racing back in the day, Andy Bill built my nitrous engines, and we went X275 racing. By the time we finished the car, the class was running like low 520s, high 510s. And we were always like a 10th behind. I mean, we didn't, when I say we didn't know shit, we didn't know shit. Like we could burn a nitrous engine up with the best of them. We were lifting ring lands. If I made it 2 or 3 rounds, there was zero doubt that when we pulled in the box for the semi or the final, that thing was going to be huffing out of one side. Like absolutely 100% burn it all, So, but we learned a lot. We had fun. Things kind of picked up for us. We met at the time Stevie Fast Jackson when he was in the orange car, the early days of the first orange car. He convinced us to switch everything to Pro Charger. Dad and I switched our car. Tommy Kirk built the Blue Goose, which I drove for years. So we put everything small block Pro Charger. We go back X Racing. We're still a 10th behind. We were running 490s. They were running 480s. We went 480s. They went 470s. There for a little bit, we were running kind of with them. They were in the bottom 60s and we were in the high 60s. And at that time, we had decided that X was just not for us. Well, let me backtrack. Around home, a competitive X275 car could run in the local small tire radial, no time shootout deals. Yeah. Well, as things progressed and technology took over, our local small tire stuff, which still to this day, but at that time had the names of like David Pearson and Little Evil, Ziff Hudson was around, Barry Mitchell was around. I mean, big, fast small tire guys. So you couldn't compete with an X275 car anymore. So we decided we wanted to be able to run local and also go to, at the time, kind of your only choice then was Donald's races twice a year at South Georgia. Yep. So Pro 275 today, which was like outlaw drag radial then, I guess, was a thing. And we decided we're going to go twin turbo small block racing so that we can do both.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, the Corvette that I campaigned in Radio versus the World and then ultimately had my fire in, which is right there. It came up for sale. The whole operation, literally everything to go Radio versus the World racing. And at that moment, we went that direction in like, I don't know, mid 2014 probably.
Yeah.
And like completely scrapped my 4th gen. Tommy Kirk, in the meantime, sold the Blue Goose to Mark Dykeman in Boston, and Radio versus the World was all I had, and then obviously everybody knows the old crispy Corvette. Gave me a pretty good ride there in September of 15. So I don't know how far we want to go before we talk about other stuff, but that kind of catches you up to where my drag racing career started, almost ended, and then was kind of the platform that I used to get to where I am today.
All right. If you need more, you can hit the link right up in the corner or down in the comments that will take you to the full interview with Lyle Barnett. Thanks, guys. See you.